Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and tonight I am so super excited. We have the one, the only master illusionist and magician and author, all around special nice guy, Dixie Dooley from Las Vegas. Hey, Dixie, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, sweetie. How are you? It's nice to be here with you.
It's so wonderful. You know, I've been looking forward to this and prepping for this all week. I'm so excited to have you here. It's such an honor, Dixie, because in Las Vegas, you're one of the best magicians. You've had your own show. You are a top professional, and we want to let you know you're so important to us. We love you and we care about you. So I want to start that.
Well, thank you so much, AJ. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence and talk to you. And as always, I've always commented on what a beautiful voice you have.
Oh, thank you.
Even when I talk to you on the phone, you're just a beautiful sounding voice.
Oh,
It makes you feel good, makes you happy.
oh, that's wonderful. You know, thank you. You've warmed and touched my heart. Dixie, thank you so much. And I know someone else who appreciates you very much. You're a very caring soul. That's her words. I want to give a special shout out to Georgette Dante and say, hi, Georgette. Thank you so much for introducing me to Dixie. He's a wonderful man. We love our Georgette, right, Dixie?
Yes, thank you, Georgette. She's a beautiful spirit.
She really is. And you know what? She adores you so much. You know, you're up there. You're one of her favorite and special friends, Dixie. And I just wanted to convey that to you. She absolutely loves you. And it's so wonderful to celebrate this. So, okay, let's get right into it. Dixie, you are a master illusionist, a magician, and an author. So we want to talk about you know, actually let's get right into your books, because I bought both of your books and I just love them. We have them on screen, and I'm going to show everybody my copies as well. We've got Houdini Question Reality by Dixie Dooley, and you can get this on Amazon.com. There's the full picture of it, and
Yes.
it's such a wonderful read. You are so proud of this. This is your heart and soul, isn't it, Dixie? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I started, one of my idols when I was very little growing up was Alfred Hitchcock. And I read his books called The Three Investigators. They were really children's books, but they were very fascinating to me. And I wrote him a letter to Hollywood. I was living in Augusta, Georgia. And I was just a little boy. I was probably 7 years old, something like that. And one day in the mail, I get a letter from Alfred Hitchcock. He returned it and he thanked me for the letter, and I was just amazed. And I told him one day I want to grow up and be a writer like you. And he just loved it, I guess, and he wrote me back. And I kept that letter for years, but somehow it got misplaced when I was moving or something, and I lost it. So I don't have the letter, so you have to take my word for it.
We
But
believe
I
you.
thought that was great. It gave me some inspiration, you know.
Yeah.
And the hardest book I ever wrote, you don't have. It's this one right here. This
Oh my
one,
gosh. Yes,
this one is called Exploits, and it's got basically my whole life story in it. You know, it's got and look how thick it is, 500
yes.
something pages, and it
Where can
tells
I get
all
that? Where can I get that, Dixie?
Amazon or Lulu.com.
Okay.
Lulu.com, I think, has it for sure. But if you get this book, oh, there's my mother. I turned right to her. How about that? Yeah. That was my inspiration, love of my life right there. You know, yeah.
What a
Beautiful
beautiful
lady.
lady.
I miss
So
her.
so beautiful, Dixie.
Yeah, I miss her a lot. Yeah. And there's my dad. And it's got basically the story of my life.
Oh wow.
And it's a long story, as you can see, and it's got all the stunts, the publicity stunts. I'm driving across the Tower Bridge in London, blindfolded, to you name it, it's got it in there, and it shows how I felt about doing these things. Because when I was in London and I was about to do the blindfold drive the night before, I remember I was sitting in, I went to a British bar, and I sat there and I thought, should I do this or shouldn't I? And I said, I'm going to go for it. I made front page headlines in London, and I'm glad I did. The funny thing is, I had to have people send me newspapers with the clippings with the front page, because I left London. My tour was over, and I left the next day after the blindfold drive. But it's got a lot of stunts and things that I did over the years, uh, and it's a long, I think, very fascinating read. And any mystifiers or magicians or whatever who read it probably can pick up some pointers on doing some of those stunts, like the buried alive, the milk can, underwater milk can escape, which I performed with a real milk can from Trulog, West Germany. We were touring on my bus, and we looked over the side, and the whole road was lined with these giant milk cans. I went, are you kidding me? And I even took some pictures, because a lot of people I knew wouldn't believe me, but they were big enough to get inside of. And I thought, wow, that's probably how Houdini came up with the concept,
Yeah.
of a milk can escape, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a fascinating read, and I also, over the years, I wrote a bunch of little books. This one was these are little pamphlet books, and this is called Las Vegas Bar Bets, Jokes, and Tricks. And I wrote this. This was in the Las Vegas gaming stores for a while, and it has all kinds of swindles and how to do tricks,
Nice.
on people, bar bets and stuff. And this is the early exploits book, pamphlet book. You can't get these. These are rarities now.
Yeah.
If you could find one, I'd be really surprised. I
Yeah.
know Gary had them all. Gary Darwin, my dear friend, and Georgette's friend too. You know, he collected all my stuff.
Wow.
Every time a newspaper clipping, anything would come out, he'd grab it. He
I,
was a dear friend of mine.
oh, that's wonderful.
Really did. Such a giving man. The art of magic. Of course, I call myself a mystifier, and you know why I do that?
Why is that, Dixie?
Because mystifier is a creator of mystery.
Yeah.
In other words, if you were a real magician, you'd be able to snap your fingers and this table would disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And the French magician Robert Houdin said that there's no such thing as a real magician. Uh, they because if they could do that, be able to snap the fingers and things would disappear and things would happen. Well, so I call myself a mystifier, creator of mystery. And Houdini called himself that. Later in his life, he called himself the mystifier, all the time, rather
Amazing.
than magician, you know.
Yes,
And if you
yes,
think about it, it's very true, you
it
know.
is. It is because it's the art of manipulation, really, isn't it? It's
The art
sleight.
of creating illusion or mystery. Yeah.
Yes, and the sleight of hand. There's a definite artistry to that, and you're one of the top ones in Vegas, and you have done. You've you are like top class because you were at 6 years at Harrah's with your own show there, residency. Isn't that right,
Yes.
Dixie?
Magician in residence. I
Yes.
I, I wanted to do have my own theater and do my own show and stuff when I came to Vegas. Well, anyhow, I was here 2 days and I got in a show called Here's Entertainment. And I was doing basically illusions, the boom suspension, the metamorphosis, Houdini's metamorphosis.
Wow.
And because I was playing the part of Houdini, it was a play, Here's Entertainment.
Oh,
But
cool.
then when that show closed, I got word that there was a opening at Harrah's. They were auditioning people to be the magician in residence. You would do close up for them, and you'd be Harrah's magician in residence. And I got word that that was opened up, and but the person who told me that said that all the top people in town are auditioning for it because it could be a lifetime thing, you know.
Yeah.
And the audition was with Rocky Sinus, who was I don't know if you know Rocky or remember Rocky. Rocky and Frank Sinus are the ones that brought Siegfried and Roy to town.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
Lido and all that. And Rocky was the little brother of Frank Sinus. And they were all into entertainment. They were from Ohio. And so he said, "You'll never get the job. You'll never get it because all these top guys are going up for this job." And you know what? I was driving down the strip. Back then, you could drive down the strip pretty quick, you know, not like now. And I was driving down the strip and I was right in front of Harris and I said, "Oh, what the heck?" And I turned my car and went in the driveway and parked and went in and I walked down the hallway and I could hear there was another magician in there auditioning for Rocky. And Miggs, who later became such a dear friend of mine, and she knew where all the bodies were buried and everything when it come to Rocky and everybody. You know what I mean? I mean that in a comical way. You know what I mean? Because maybe she really did. I don't know. Anyhow, she got on the phone. She called Rocky down the hallway and said, "Rocky, there's Dixie's here to see you." He goes, "Okay, send him in. Give me a couple minutes and send him in." So the guy left, was auditioning, and I went down and I got the job.
Wow. Yeah, they wanted
Rocky liked
you.
me. He liked me because one thing he liked was I had the experience of traveling all over the world
Yeah.
numerous times to every corner of the world. I mean, I did just for the Department of Defense alone, I did something like 12 tours, and each one of these tours were 2-month tours. And because I've been to all these countries, it seemed as if it was easy for me to strike up a friendship with people and talk to them. And so Rocky, later he told me the reason he said uh, send Dixie in was because he thought I was a burlesque dancer, Dixie. And so,
Really?
yes, send her in, you know. But anyhow, he told me that later on, but I went in there and I got the job. So, and I was there for 6 years performing as the magician in residence. Every convention, everything they had there, I did for them. All the VIPs from Sugar Ray Leonard, you name it, you know, I would entertain when they came through Harris, you know. So that was an experience. My mom loved Rocky. Rocky was a great guy. He was like a second dad to me.
Oh.
Call me up. He'd call me up. I got to see everybody's audition tape and everything because they all went to Rocky and auditioned to be in his shows because he also had the show there at Harris. And so he hired me for a lot of things too outside of Harris. I went to Palm Springs one Christmas and did the big Christmas show that
Wow.
Harris put on with all the dancers and all.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
he was like a second father to me. He really was. He was a great guy, treated me really nice. He'd call me on the intercom. He'd teach me at Harris, you know, and I'd pick up the phone and Miggs would say, "Rocky wants to see you in his office." And I'd go, "Oh boy, I'm in trouble." And I hang up the phone. I'd go up there and he'd want me to watch videotapes with him, you know. And I never forget, he from Ireland, he got this reel to reel tape of a singer that he loved, this female singer, and she was she could hit soprano, yeah, and she was very good. And he reminded me of Columbo in a way. You know how Columbo is portrayed on television?
Yeah. Yeah.
He always
Great.
acted like he didn't know what he was talking about, but he was very clever.
But he
You
was
know?
very smart, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so he got this reel to reel tape of this girl and he put it on. I had to help him thread it to one of the old reel to reel tape players. He put it on. This was someone he had used in a show a long time ago. Because he booked Sammy Davis Jr., he booked all of them. Him and Frank, they owned that, what is it, Sorrento's or whatever that was in, that is now the Las Vegas, Comedy Store in LA.
Wow.
They used to own that nightclub where all the stars came. He knew everybody, you know. And
Amazing.
so, in fact, the last time Sammy Davis performed at Harris, Rocky invited me to come down spend the day with him and Sammy. And I didn't go. I
Oh,
was tired. I told him I was tired and I couldn't come. And
oh,
I just had to spend the whole day with Sammy Davis Jr. But
wow.
anyhow, he puts on the tape, right, of the girl singer that he knew. And she's singing this high operatic voice. I looked over there and Rocky was back like this with his hands on his chest, his big cigar, in his mouth. He's sitting back like that. All of a sudden I see his eyes start to close. I was like, oh, he's going to sleep, you know? And then in a few minutes, he's singing, and everything. A few minutes, I see a tear run down the front of his face.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, what a character. But
wow.
anyhow, I knew a lot of people and met a lot of people through Rocky and through them. It was an exciting time in my life. And right before that, I went to Beirut, Lebanon, and entertained our troupe. I was out there with Bob Hope, uh, Wayne Newton, who
Wow.
I talked to Wayne about it last time I met him, uh, and talked to him about the
Wayne
movie.
Newton.
Yeah,
Wow.
and Bob Hope was exciting to me. I
Bob
had
Hope.
pictures of we stayed in the same bed in the captain's quarters.
Uh-huh.
I had pictures that the captain had put up that said Bing Crosby slept here. He put up a banner up on the wall so that when Bob Hope walked in, he'd go, "What?" You know, and it was a joke. Anyhow, uh,
That's great.
Bob Hope thing was I saw him. I had taken pictures of that. He goes, "Where'd you get these?" He wanted to come see my show.
Oh,
That night he was
wow.
signing his books. I got his autograph 100 times on all of his books and on the pictures. He signed them all. I couldn't go that night. I wasn't working that night, so he couldn't come see my show.
Oh,
But
yeah.
over the years, I produced a lot of shows. I produced like 6 shows here in Vegas. Each one of them had about at least a 3-year run. One show that I produced, which I was real proud of, was called Heat Wave. And Heat Wave was an exciting show. I produced it with my then wife, Karen Denise, who was the lead singer dancer in Splash at the Riviera.
Wow.
Yeah, she was exciting little fireball dancer, one of the most exciting dancers you'll ever see on stage, I promise you.
Incredible.
And we're still good friends.
Oh, that's
Even though we're
amazing.
divorced now, and I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
And so, anyhow, Heatwave was one of the shows that I was only in a few times. I only put myself in the show a few times to fill a space when it was needed. But
Hmm.
we that lasted a long time. Then I had a show called That's Magic, where I had a lagger in the show, a cross between a lion and a tiger, and I made it appear at the end of the show, and people could take pictures with it and stuff after the show. Yeah, it was a big cat. My
Dixie,
friend
that's
Carl,
amazing.
my friend Carl Mitchell brought it all the way from Pahrump every day. Brought it. We used to have to clear the owl for him to bring the cat down the owl and into the backstage area there at O'Shea's. You know,
Incredible.
and then let's see, when the boardwalk opened, the boardwalk is no longer there. It was owned by Mr. J, and Mrs. J had all the little gift shops in Harris and all over the place. But Mr. J said, "I want Dixie to be in my show." He built a whole little showroom. It was really cute. It was only held about 150 people, but
Oh,
it had an
nice.
opera curtain, and it was just really nice show.
Yeah.
State of the art lighting, sound, everything was really nice. And I was there for 3 years, and I had a magic shop there too, uh, right in the front. But Mr. J passed away, unfortunately, but he used to tell me a lot of stories. He's the one who got Evil Knievel to jump fountains
Oh,
because Evil
really?
had come. Yeah, he told me Evil had come to see him about jumping something in front of the boardwalk. And he says, "Well, you can't do it here, but I know so and so down at Caesars. You go talk to him and tell him Mr. J sent you."
Oh,
And
amazing.
that started the whole thing, really. In fact, one of the things I loved about moving to Las Vegas, and what really occurred to me way before I ever moved here. I first performed here in 1978 at the Sahara Hotel and Casino in the Casbar Theater, and when I came here, there was only a handful of magicians. There was probably maybe 5 or 6 magicians. Jimmy Grippo at Caesar's Palace, Daniel Cross at the DI, Desert Inn, and which ain't here anymore. I still remember in my mind all these hallways and aisles and how the showroom looked and everything back in the day, the sand and all that. But anyhow, it was like I remember thinking before I moved here, this is where I need to be. I love all the people and I love their attitudes and the excitement of Las Vegas. When I
Yeah.
came here, I saw that there was only a few magicians that lived here and worked here, and they were all working magicians. Gary Darwin had his Magic Club meeting at 12 midnight. It didn't start until 12 midnight. And
What?
Siegfried would be there, and Siegfried became a real good friend of mine. You
Oh,
know, I mean, I knew Siegfried. In fact, what is so strange is I saw him right before he died,
wow.
and when I pulled up, I said, "What a coincidence!" I was in my car and I pulled up. I saw him out in the front, and and he said, "There's no such thing as coincidence. It was meant to happen, you know."
Yes.
And so I saw him and we talked and everything. It was like saying goodbye, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
And I saw it was only a few months later he died. But a lot of strange things like that have happened in my life, you know. But
Wow, Dixie.
the Magic Club was filled only with those individuals. And then over the years, I had seen so many people like, okay, on television, like Red Fox. Red Fox welcomed me to Las Vegas when I first moved here. It was late night and I pulled up a red light and then pulled up beside me was a red limousine and the window rolled down. I was like, that's Red Fox. And he said, are you moving? Because I had all my stuff in my car. And I said, yeah, I'm moving. He says, I moved here 37 years ago. And he goes, and I love it. Welcome to Las Vegas. Then he sped off.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
goodness.
what a great welcome to Las Vegas. That was my first day here, you know. Red Fox welcomed me to Las Vegas. And then
Wow.
all the people that me and my mom used to watch TV together sometimes, and we'd watch things like the Gong Show. She thought it was really funny, and the Unknown Comic. Well, I never dreamed that I would know Murray Langston, the Unknown Comic, the guy with the bag over his head.
Oh, yes, I remember him
Yeah.
well. My dad
Well,
and I, we loved watching him.
mhm. Well, I
Funny.
never dreamed that we'd be sharing a showroom together. He was on after me uh, at the boardwalk. Yeah. And but anyhow, and I got to be friends with him. In fact, his nephew did my lights and sound at the boardwalk.
Really? What can I ask? What did he look like? Because all we ever saw was the bag. Dixie,
He's a nice looking guy,
did he
nice
have like blonde hair or brown hair or like
brown hair.
yeah.
He's a famous writer, comedy writer.
Wow.
Yeah, and in fact, the story goes that he didn't want it to ruin his reputation being on the Gong Show, so that's why
Mhm.
he put the bag over his head. That's how that all started.
Uh-huh.
He was very funny, a lot of energy,
So
a lot
much
of energy.
energy. He had this like nervous energy, didn't he? And
Yeah.
he'd always
Mhm.
laugh. It was really high frequency and it made you laugh because he was comical. He was very talented.
And then there was always people like when I was back east, I used to watch all Evil Knievel's jumps on Wide World of Sports.
Loved
Well, I never
evil.
dreamed he'd come to see my heat wave show at the Maxim,
Wow.
and we sat and talked and talked and talked because he's German Irish and I'm German Irish, and we hit it right off. And we sat there at the bar and we talked until almost sun up. And
Great.
he was such a gentleman. People would come up to have their picture made, meet him, and first thing he'd do before anything is he'd introduce me to them and say, "This is my friend. He's an escape artist. He's done all kinds of wonderful things, Dixie." And shake their hands, and I was like, "What a gentleman!" People don't know me, but anyhow, he'd always do that. And
Um,
and I never forget as we were leaving the Maxim and the sun was coming up. I looked down there, and there's people walking away saying goodbye. And I had spent the whole evening with him. I go, I can really say that he's my friend, that I
wow.
know him. You
Yeah.
know, I met Robbie too later on. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
He used to like to come see my heat wave show for some reason. All the girls. Yeah,
That's
there was a
fabulous,
lot of pretty
Dixie.
girls in that show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's so wonderful. And just listening to you, thank you so much for sharing all of that, Dixie. You have a blessed and special life. You're chosen, just like you were chosen for all those shows and selected. And yeah, you're very, very special. And I want to mention also this other book that you have written. It's called From Death He Departs. This one's also about Houdini as well. And I love the cover of it because it's got this cool like skull, and it's got kind of like a potion kind of thing and some cards.
It was
Just
a long time to pick that cover.
beautiful cover. And then on the back, I
Uh-oh.
love this. This is one of my most favorite pictures of you,
And
Dixie.
it looks like now.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, really wonderful. I hope everybody can see it. And yeah, it's a great book. So where can people get this? Is this on Amazon too?
Amazon.
Yes,
Too.
Amazon too. And so please support
that
Dixie.
book is really, really strange because
Yeah.
I actually wrote that back in the 80s.
Did you really?
I wrote the whole book when I was on tour. Every night I would write something, and I said it was a 2 month tour. And I said by the time the tour is over, I'm going to finish this book. And as the plane was landing, coming home, I wrote the last page. And
Wow.
I haven't really changed it at all. I can tell. I can look at it and say, "Wow, my writing has really changed a lot since then." In fact, I'm writing another book. In fact, see, after I wrote this book, the real thick book there,
Yes.
I had to take a break. I wrote three
Sure.
books, two books actually, in
Wow. Yeah.
in less than 2 years.
Wow.
And that one, when I finished that last one, I was so tired. I
Uh,
never knew writing was such hard work, you know?
Yes, I'm going to order it, and I want to encourage everybody else to order that. You've got 3 books, and I just found it on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.com, and it's called Exploits of the Amazing Dixie Dooley. It's in paperback, and you can get a brand new copy on there. So I'm going to do that. I'm excited. I encourage everybody to do that as well, because these are your memories, aren't they, Dixie?
Yes, there's
They're
a
cherished.
lot of good memories there.
Yeah.
But see, I wanted to get these books out of the way, get them published and everything before I wrote what I want to do now is sci-fi books and horror, sci-fi and horror, kind of like
Oh, yeah, that's so popular.
the one that I'm working on right now. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's about underneath Las Vegas and the people who live underneath Las Vegas.
I'd love to read that.
And it's very strange book. Nothing like it, you know. And
Uh-huh.
so
I love it.
I'm about 3 chapters into it right now.
Oh, great. Sci-fi, UFOs, aliens, all of that, the supernatural is
Mm-hmm.
so intriguing, and it's so hot. The young generation loves it. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, people like me, middle-aged, and everyone is curious about it because it's unique, it's different, and we all have questions. And
Right.
speaking of, so when will that book be out? You're writing it now, right? But it'll
I'm
be a
writing it
while.
now, so I have no idea.
It'll be a
You know.
while. Okay, well,
Well,
keep us.
I hope before. I don't know if I can say before the end of the year, but maybe. You know.
Okay.
But I think the sci-fi and the horror type books
Yeah.
are more my calling. I think, and it got some twists in it and stuff. So you know,
Good. Good. Yeah, horror is huge. It's like
yeah.
the number one thing out there. And so even some, action movies now are having horror in it. Have you noticed that
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix and other
Mm-hmm.
places? It's very popular. So that's going to do really well. And Dixie, please keep us posted because I want you back on so we can promote it when
Okay,
when you
sounds good.
publish your book, okay? I want first dibs on the interview, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I will
Sounds.
do that. I will do that. I'm a man of my word. You can remember that. You
Thank
know,
you. Oh, I'm
but
so honored.
when I tell you, a lot of people often ask me about things like, you don't seem like any other magician or whatever that we've interviewed. And I said, well, that's probably because of my background. When I started, I started actually doing tricks and stuff for people around the coffee table when I was 6 years old when I lived in Germany. But I played drums for 16 years with bands up and down the Southeast in all kinds of bands. I played behind Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman. I played with, we opened for Dixie Dregs, Steve Morris, guitar player of the year, a number of years, and also played for Deep Purple. And I knew all these guys, went to school with them. Oh, and so, traveling with a group of people and being on the road and learning, I learned a lot about entertainment from that too. Mm-hmm. So, and I have just as many musician friends and entertainer friends, general entertainer friends, from comics to, you name it, as I do other people in the world of magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, everyone loves magic. And so I'm sure you know a lot of different people. Now a little birdie told me it was your birthday, but that's not correct. Your birthday is in November. Let's set the record straight, Dixie. Take it away.
November 8th. I'm not going to tell you what year.
Okay.
I stopped doing that. I stopped aging.
I'm with you. Cheers to that, Dixie. Cheers to that. Okay. Cheers.
Okay. I like yours better than mine.
Okay.
I don't drink anymore. I stopped drinking.
This is grapefruit juice.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good for me.
So
I stopped drinking. I used to drink, good. And go out, but I just totally, like they say, about spirit,
Yes, let's talk about that.
That's why they call them spirits, is because it kind of releases your inhibitions and you end up doing things you wouldn't normally do or saying things you wouldn't normally do and getting in fights and all kinds of stuff,
Isn't that true?
It's not good for you. My dad, the last probably 30 years of his life never drank because he was in Turkey and he was in the military. And he used to get, when he drank, he got in fights with everybody, Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there was this big picture of my dad, whose name was Dixie Lee Dooley. And my granddad's name was Dixie Smith Dooley. Oh, but anyhow, it was this big picture in the Armed Forces newspaper of my dad holding this colonel upside down in the officers club and going to drop him on his head and kill him. And so he got transferred out of Turkey real quick, and they sent him to Germany. And his commanding officer said, "You better send for your wife and your little boy and get them over here." When I was 6 years old, and so we came to Germany, to be with him.
And that's where you grew up, right, Dixie?
No, I only lived there for 1 year, but then we went to Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Which that's where I went to school. That's where I had my first girlfriend and, got my first heart broken. Oh. And, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
you've been there, right?
Right.
So when you go and Augusta was, when I look back now, in fact, I'm going to go back there, make a trip, sentimental journey and visit the place I was born and my hometown. I'm going to make one trip maybe this year before the end of the year.
Great.
But anyhow, Augusta has some sweet memories to me. I played drums all the time I was there, and that's where I had my first TV show. In fact, that's how it ties into Film Talk, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, because I produced my own TV show there. I had done a lot of little talk shows up and down the East Coast in Columbia, South Carolina. I was on the 20th anniversary of public broadcasting up in Columbia, and with Jim Welsh on his show there. And so anyhow, I wanted to do my own television show on a weekly basis, So Lee Sheridan was a guy who worked for Channel 26, the NBC affiliate in Augusta, Georgia. And anybody who's watching from Augusta or whatever might recognize him. But anyhow, he said, "All right, let's do it." So we kept having meetings and meetings and meetings. And finally, Lee Sheridan said, you know what? You set up a camera, have Dixie come in and talk and do some of his magic in front of the camera, and we'll go from there. And
Yay.
he was smart enough to know that it would never have gotten off the ground if you just didn't do it and let it develop and grow, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
everything will fall in place. And oh my God, by the last season of shows that we did, you would never recognized it. You know, it was a whole different ballgame, a whole different show, whole different look to it, everything. And so I did the show for 8 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
Dixie.
even when I left, even and what I'm real proud of is I never did the same trick twice, the same magic trick twice. You
Amazing.
know, on the show. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, speaking of tricks, I know it's not your birthday, but I have a very I've lit a candle here for you, and you are one of the top professional master illusionists in the world. And I am so honored to call you my friend. And you're so powerful and so talented that even through this Zoom meeting, you have the power and the wherewithal and magic to do this. So I'm going to count 2, 3. Okay,
Oh,
let me
magic long distance. Huh?
magic
Okay.
long distance. Let me my camera just went out. Just let me just start it again. So okay, so
Oh, there you went out. Yeah.
yeah,
Here
so
you
here
are.
I'm back. Okay, now I'm back. Okay, so on the count of 3, Dixie, I know it's not your birthday, but I was gonna sing happy birthday to you, but instead we're gonna have you blow out this candle through the Zoom on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Yes, look at that. Wow.
Magic. Yeah.
Dixie
The
Dooley, there you
magic
have it.
of
There you
podcast.
have it, everybody. Did you everybody see the flash of light there? All the power coming through the screen. That was it, wasn't it, Dixie?
That's it. That's it.
Now
And
we'll never tell the secrets because a master illusionist never does.
that's
But
true.
I just want to say wow, and you are amazing, Dixie. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. That was fun.
It was great. And Dixie, I do want to let you know that Georgette Dante she's going to have a film, a movie, or a TV show, Wild Women of Burlesque, and she wants you very much in our movie, The Wild Women of Burlesque, the movie and TV show, because
I'd love to be on it. I could
yes,
tell you something about burlesque dancers.
okay,
uh, I've known a few.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, and so
I can't talk about them.
you're gonna fit right in, Dixie,
Yeah.
because you know that whole environment, and it'll be fun. And of course, we want you to do your magic. Um,
I had someone that was going to do a movie about my life one time. They started the screenplay,
yeah.
and here's the way it was going to start out. I was going to be at the top of the stratosphere in a straitjacket, and they're about ready to throw me over the edge of the in a straitjacket. And I'm thinking this in my mind. I was like, say before you die, your whole life flashes in front of your face,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And so it goes from me in the straitjacket to my dad back in Augusta, Georgia, when I'm a little boy, and he's
Oh,
pulling a rope from a tree and hanging me upside down in a straitjacket so I can learn how to get out. You know,
amazing.
and that's all the guy wrote on the screenplay, but that was the beginning of it.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
great opening for a
Yeah.
movie.
I
My
thought it
God.
was a good idea. He was going
Yeah.
to kind of do it like the Evil Knievel movie, where it
Yes.
flashes back and all different types of things.
Oh, yeah.
You were going to ask me about seances, right?
Yes.
Because
Let's
Halloween is coming up.
Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's coming up next month. That's one of
Yeah,
my favorite holidays. It's so
me
much
too.
fun to. How about you, Dixie? Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's talk about seances, because I wanted to ask you how you do them, and do you burn sage before you start the seance or say prayers? Because when doing seances, don't you, isn't there the prospect for evil spirits to be present?
My seance is done basically in two parts. First part is an expose of tricks used by fraudulent spirit mediums in Houdini's day. Now, those tricks are very real. They're very scary. Things float through the air and everything. And they used to horrify people. And it would convince people that, hey, I was there in the seance room and things began to move and things began to fly through the air and
Right.
all. So it's very convincing. And that lasts for the first part of the show is about 30 minutes. And then we go into the actual seance where there's no tricks. And the person who usually conducts a seance for me is Dr. Cagliosis. I can't pronounce his name. But anyhow, he usually conducts a seance. He's a very good uh, spirit medium, you know, and
So he channels, does
he's
he
a
channel?
conduit. He's a conduit to the spirit world.
So he
You know?
channels the spirits through him, is that right?
Right. And it's an actual seance, you know.
Wow.
Now, over the years, things have happened at my seances. The year after the OJ thing, who was his wife? I can't remember his wife.
Nicole.
Nicole, yeah. And anyhow, we had the seance, and someone conducted it for me, and they channeled Nicole, and she said she wanted revenge, and
Ooh.
and that was one odd thing that happened. Once I was doing a seance at the Royal, and the big metal door opened in the back. Everybody could see it, and then all of a sudden it shut. You know, everybody just went okay. And once the sound and everything, all the power, we lost power. Once I was holding this in the whole room, and then it came back on. Right when I was conjuring the spirit of Houdini to return from the grave, are you with us? And it went, and everything went out.
Whoa.
And once I was doing a seance for Elvis, believe it or not.
Really?
And yeah, I was doing a seance and the Marilyn Monroe seance too on her death day. That was really cool because everybody wore Chanel number 5. Not all the women did. So the essence of Marilyn was in the room. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what she loved.
Yeah.
And then we had
So can you tell
the
me about
The
I'm sorry
Elvis
about
seance.
the Elvis, yes.
The Elvis seance was really unusual because it hardly ever rains here in Vegas. You know that, right? But occasionally we have these flashes of rain, and they last maybe 15 minutes or something like that, and they stop. Well, it was right next. It was the hotel, the Greek Isles. Remember the Greek Isles? It was the hotel that was right there close to where Elvis performed, which
Wow.
used to be the International Hotel, which is now it was the Hilton. Well, at the time it was called the Hilton. But anyhow, I had seance for Elvis. I called on the spirit of Elvis to be with us. All of a sudden, there was thunder and lightning. Everybody in the room, and it started raining. And the Greek Isles was so old that the ceiling leaked and the water started coming down on the audience. And then afterwards, people were saying, "Was that a special effect or something that you did?" I said, "No." And what is so strange about it is Elvis's logo was TCB, taking care of business in a flash, like lightning, you know. And so it was kind of strange. And so I've
Wow.
had some strange things happen at the seance, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
seances over the years, you know.
Yeah.
Those are only about 3 or 4 that I can think of, but there have been some
Wow.
things like. But anyhow, his seance is very effective because he is a great actor. Dennis is his name, Dennis Allard, and I first worked with him when I did my horror show at Fright Dome at Circuits, and I put a seance upstairs on the 13th floor at Circuits for Halloween.
Wow.
and Fright Dome and all. And Dennis Allard conducted the seances. And I fell in love with him. I said, this guy's a great actor. He's so good at what he does, and
Yes.
scares people. He's been in about, let's see, I got his videos. He's been in 3 horror films, you know,
Wow.
playing
So
creepy characters and all.
incredible, Dixie. So do you burn sage before or say a prayer? What do you do to protect
Well,
yourself?
we burn incense, and
Mm-hmm.
if anybody'd like to say a prayer, they're welcome to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Now,
So,
afterwards, that's wonderful. And then afterwards, do you feel tired or do people feel tired? Is it draining or how do they feel afterwards? Because it's a little spiritual, right?
well, I've got people on video saying if you plan to come to the séance and you get scared, I better warn you, it's real. You know. And
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah.
I've got this one lady she says I got to tell people that it's a real thing. If you want to come see it, it's fine. If not,
Mm-hmm.
just stay away. So,
Right, right.
well, it's a similar type of thing that Houdini was doing towards the last
Yes,
part of his career.
he
His
was,
show was,
wasn't he?
yes, an expose of spirit tricks. Because he was inflamed that he began to go to seances to try to communicate with his dead mother. You know, and because he didn't get to say goodbye to her because he was on tour in Europe when she passed away, and so he wanted to talk to her, and all these mediums kept saying that they could communicate with her and all, and he'd go there, and it was very obvious to him that they were using
Mm.
magic tricks to, you know, say that it was real, things were moving and all that. To him, he could recognize that they were tricks, you know.
Like the table would move, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right, right. Tables would move and ectoplasm, you know what that is, right?
Say
All
again.
this weird ectoplasm. It's
What
where
is
all this weird stuff starts coming out of their mouth, you know. And
ah,
there's all kinds of strange things. I
mm.
own the spirit table that belonged to Houdini that he used to expose the tricks of the Boston medium Marjorie. One of the weirdest nights in my life that I ever had was when I spent the night in Houdini's mansion in New York. I went to Tennant's magic shop and I asked them, is the old Houdini house still there? And they said, yeah, but no one goes there because it's in such a bad part of town. It's in Harlem, West 278th Street, you know? And I said, 278 West 113th Street. And I said, well, I was saying, well, I've got to go there. I got to at least
Yeah.
see it. If it's a bad part of town, I'll just drive by and take a picture. Well, I drove by and there it was. It was very recognizable. I knocked on the door. And when I was knocking on the door, a big limo pulled up and the window rolled down like Red Fox, me and my limos, right? uh, the window rolled down and he said, the guy said, that's Houdini's house. I said, yeah, is anybody here, the owner or anything? And he goes, I'll go get him. He's right down the street. And the guy ended, to make a long story short, the guy ended up actually wanting to sell me the house. Yeah, $250,000. And that was very reasonable for a brownstone. And it was beautiful. I spent the whole evening in there. And the guy gave me all kinds of stuff. A packing crate that Houdini was nailed inside of that still had his stickers on it where he had traveled across the ocean 3 times back and forth. Houdini had. It even had the cabin that they stayed in written on it. And it had his handwriting on the side. All straight jackets, October 19, whatever year it was, 23, I think it was. And if you look it up, Bunninger said that was the year they packed all their straitjackets, everything in the basement, and they packed them all in the basement, and they went into the motion picture business, you know. And so it coincides with exactly what Bunninger had said. And then there's a ladder that he was tied to on stage. I was offered his player piano, but it was too big to go in the trunk of my car. And uh, posters, lots of posters. printing plate here, it's belonged to Houdini
Yes.
personally. It wasn't.
Is,
It's
isn't that
belonged to him
amazing? So
personally.
this is
You
his
can
personal,
see his image on it.
yes. And so this is his personal printing plate. This is
He
where,
used it in 1912 to print flyers. See,
and these, yes. And
it
these were
says
the
the world
posters,
famous
right?
Harry Houdini, creator of the handcuff act. You know,
Wow. So
and
if you have you put parchment over that, Dixie, or
I had them printed. I had them
yes?
printed. Norm Nielsen actually had a limited edition of them printed for me and all numbered and everything. And he sold a bunch of them. So,
Oh, you know, you
you know,
could do that again. Would you be
yeah, that was the first time it was ever printed with.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
Houdini,
Norm's no longer with us. So I don't know
oh,
what happened.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
You have amazing posters, and I know you collect the print. Um, you're incredible, Dixie. And Houdini means a lot to you, doesn't he?
Well, it wasn't intended. I didn't get into magic because of Houdini. I
Mm-hmm.
got into magic, and every time I would do an escape trick or anything, they go, "Oh, that's like Houdini." And
Yeah.
so I got more and more interested on who's this guy Houdini. You know,
Yes.
what's he all about?
Yes.
And of course, I met Tony Curtis,
I was going to say
who
that.
played the part of Houdini.
Yes,
Yeah,
in your book here in this book, there's a great picture of
is there?
you with
I forget
Tony.
which book it was in.
Yeah, it
It's in
was
that
this,
one.
it's in this
Yeah, because
one.
the story about the Houdini, me going to Houdini's mansion and all, is in. I think it's in that book, isn't it? Did you read it?
Yes,
Yeah,
and yes, and also there's a picture it is, and then also the picture of you meeting Tony Curtis is in here.
he
And
waited on me. Yeah.
how was that?
Well, he said, I played the part of Houdini in a film, and I'm like, yeah, really, like no one knows. You know, of course you did. You know,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Tony Curtis was really nice to me. He was talking about my show. He introduced me to his wife, and he kept saying, "We got to go see his show." You know, but he
Amazing.
died. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's why I
And
have seances.
yes, and this is and there's some wonderful pictures of you and your mom in here. So
No,
beautiful.
that's not my mom.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's Houdini's niece,
Oh,
Marie Blood.
Marie Blood.
Marie
I'm so
Blood.
sorry.
Yeah, she lived with Houdini when she was
Okay.
growing up. Houdini
Oh,
used to introduce her from the state.
wow.
He and I every time she came to town, she'd come see me and see my show. You
Oh
know,
my
and
gosh.
she'd tell me about some of the things like the little Marjorie table. She remembered that in the basement there at Houdini's mansion when she was living there. She goes,
Wow.
I remember that little table. She thought, I think it was her, someone, John Henson, who was related to actually was Houdini's carpenter. And he
Wow.
made that table for her. So everything, if it's real, it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's real, it will eventually connect and people will find you out. If it's false, that's why I've never, ever. I had one guy one time, I had this packing crate that I was doing this escape from in the show.
Yeah.
And the guy came up to me, and this was the GM of the hotel. And he says, "Why don't we tell him it belonged to Houdini? It would create more interest and everything." I said, "Nope, because it ruins my credibility.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I do say something is real, they won't believe me." You know,
Yes. Well, my apologies. Thank you for correcting me that that was not your mother. That was Marie Blood.
I love
Um,
Marie. She told me so many stories about Houdini, her uncle Houdini, stories that no one else would know. Little
y-
things about how his pants were a different size, so he had have them custom made and everything. Because he had a small waist and he had these big legs, you know.
wow.
And stories like that, how would you know that, if
Yeah.
you know? So she
So
was such
true.
a sweetheart, and so
And
I
that's
love meeting her and getting to know her. You
this
know,
wonderful memories that you have, Dixie. Thank you so much for sharing with us that. And you also have created created a DVD teaching course. Is that still
Oh,
available?
yeah. Yes, it's still available. In fact, it's
Okay.
available at my magic shop.
Let's talk about your magic shop. That's what I wanted to talk about next. So, this
Yeah.
is a picture on screen of you performing. Is
Mhm.
this in front of your magic show, your magic store?
I have a little magic theater there
Yeah.
that's constructed in front of it,
And
and with lights and sound and everything. And every one thing I'm real proud of, every show I've done in Las Vegas has been different. No two shows are the same. My World of the Unreal show was different from, uh, from the show I'm doing now. Uh, from That's Magic was different from any of the others. Um, so they're all different. This is a theater that I put together with at the mall. That, as you can see, I think it looks pretty cool. We got
very,
everything. We got smoke, special effects,
yeah,
and I hold the world record for levitating more people than anybody ever.
really.
Yes,
Well,
people
here's
from
a,
the audience, because I bring them from the audience and I levitate.
yeah,
And
look at that. We've got a picture here.
now we've added snow. So while they're levitating, it starts to snow, which
Oh
is
my
kind of
God.
cool. So I tried to with this show, unlike the other shows, or the Houdini show at the Plaza, where I did the upside down straight jacket to open it and all that kind of stuff. This show, what makes it different is is that I tried to present things that if I had a little boy or a little girl and I would take them to see a magic show, that this show would encompass all the elements that speak to you for magic, levitation, birds, rabbits, you know what I mean? All the
Yeah,
things you'd expect to see in a magic show and that you would remember, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
when the little kid is growing up, and I've had this happen a lot, people who see my shows and they grow up and go, I remember seeing you. Well, I wanna send that message to them of a magic show, not like where uh, you're seeing things that I don't know. You have to, little close up things or something like that. Something that registers magic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes, this is wonderful. And I want to thank you for continuing that because you are a gift.
Well, what I learned from playing drums for years.
What's that?
Uh, I remember there was these guys who wrote all their own material and everything. I asked them one day, I said, well, what kind of music do you listen to? And they go, we don't listen to anybody. And I said, why is that? And they said, because it
Yeah,
influences you, even if it's psychologically in the
right.
back of your head, it influences you. So you start doing things to be similar or like them. Same thing's true in magic. You know, you go see a lot of magic shows and everything, and you see
Right.
something you like, you're gonna like, oh, I like that. First thing you know, you're doing a piece of this person's show, a piece of that person's show, and you're not being yourself. I think
Correct.
that's very important, to be
Yes,
original and to be yourself.
absolutely. That's a true artist that is constantly changing it up
Yes.
and
And,
variety.
and that's what magic is, an art form. You hit the
Yes,
nail on the head. A lot of people don't understand that. Some people think of it as just a way to pick up girls or a way to make money, or they have alternative motives. Mine is I have a true love for magic, the
yeah,
history of magic, the art of magic, the great magicians. I love reading about the great magicians and their travels all over the world and their experiences. So
wonderful. That's
I was,
wonderful. Yes, Dixie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was reading a book about Thurston, and it's a very interesting book because it was written by one of his wives,
Wow.
and Thurston was a character. He was such a character, and it's so entertaining to read it because she didn't hold back on anything, and for him to be doing the things that he did back in the 30s,
I was going to say 1930s, right? And
yes, and I mean, I think he took off with her. He was traveling through the town, and she went to see him or something like that, and he just took off with her and
wow.
eventually put her in the show. And she tells the whole story. It's really really interesting. But
Incredible.
some of the guys were characters. I've known some old timers that were real characters. You know, I had one guy that come to my show at Harrah's, and when I finished, I took him to dinner. I introduced him to Gary Darwin, and he left. And the very next day, this guy came through town, and he came up to me and he says, "You know," and he named the guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he's passed away anyway. But it wouldn't be out of respect for him. Uh, he goes, "Do you know so and so?" I said, "Yeah, he was here yesterday. Stayed. We had dinner and everything." He goes, "He took off with my aeroplane." Your airplane? He goes, "Yeah, I had a plane. He took off with it. Never came back.
Oh my
Never came back." And he had a reputation for doing that.
God.
Someone he had this uh, uh, lady build him a yacht. Build him a yacht. And the
Wow.
day it was finished, he put all of his stuff on it. And he said, "I'm going to take it for a test run." And he went out to sea and he started waving to her and just kept going. Never came back. And you know, in those days, we didn't have no internet. We didn't have no way to trace people
No, that's
down. You
right.
know what I mean? He
Yeah,
got away
yeah.
with it.
Oh my goodness. They really are something uh,
I
great.
bet a lot of uh, musicians they watch this podcast, they'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He had a reputation. But anyhow, Thurston was kind of like that, you know.
Wow. I love that too. And I also love hearing stories about their lives. And I love vintage stuff, Dixie. I really love vintage things, because it's just so wonderful. On the screen, we've got this picture of you levitating a audience participant, and
Right.
there's smoke, and behind you are these great Houdini posters. Do you still have them on your?
Yeah, they're Carter and Thurston. Carter
Yeah.
and Thurston posters. Yeah.
Oh, great, great. Okay.
Yep,
And
still have them. And is it
it,
snowing in the picture? I can't tell.
it's got smoke coming up from the bottom. It's
Oh, the
really
snow
great.
comes down from the ceiling. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And so how can people watch your show? Let me give you the address. It's at you're the owner of Dixie's Magic Shop. It's on the Boulevard Mall, 99 Convention Center Drive in Las Vegas. What are the
Mhm.
hours, Dixie, in case they want to?
Uh,
Yeah.
Shows are Saturday and Sunday at 2 and 4. Now, if you want to find it real easy, you drive around the back of the Boulevard Mall and you'll see a sign that says the food court or the cafe or
Yes.
something. And you go right in the back and you look to the right, and there it is. There's the stage.
Yeah.
And we have theirs is a free show, which I think is wonderful.
Oh,
Compliments of the Boulevard Mall because they
wow.
believe in me and they like what we're doing there. And
Yeah.
we always have a good crowd, and the kids love it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a type of, I'm trying to do what I like to have seen when I was little, 6 years old or something like that.
Mm.
And we get a lot of kids and a lot of adults there. And we get some people that don't expect it to be anything but a kid show or something like that. And then they stay for a few minutes and they start to see things like Pandora's box, which is an original effect that I created based on Greek mythology, where Pandora's box, you'd open the box and
Wow.
smoke shoots like 6 foot out of the air, and a handkerchief dances all around, and
Wow.
uh, and then there's a gold ball that floats around and everything, and
Cool.
it's I created all these effects out of there, and then we do things like some classics. I love classics in magic, like the Mystery of the Silver Rings, you know, and I've done that illusion ever since I was really young. So
And I love the sound
I
of
ought to be pretty good at it by now.
you definitely are. And Dixie, I love the sound of those rings too, because it's not just the visual, it's also they're beautiful silver rings, but there's a sound to it, which is really cool.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And anyhow, I've been doing it so long that I've worked really hard on that. Oh,
You're
look at this.
amazing.
I think we got a special guest here.
Oh my gosh. Is that Gracie?
Mm-hmm. She
Hello.
loves her daddy.
Hello,
She loves her
Grace.
daddy. Yeah. You
Grace.
recognize AJ?
Hi, Gracie. Hi, it's Auntie AJ, Gracie. So nice
Yeah,
to see
she's in the
you.
show sometimes. I make her appear.
Is she?
Oh, she loves it too. She is like she's made for show business. She loves it.
Yes.
When I make her appear, she's so happy. See how happy
Oh,
she is when, you know, in
yes.
fact, sometimes I really hate not using her in the show because I know she likes it so much. She
Yes.
likes people. She likes the applause,
Yeah. It's
and
fun. She's working, right?
I can, the one trick that I make her appear in, um, I can say, Gracie, where's your magic trick? Let's do our magic trick. You go right over to it. She's
Oh,
smart. She's a smart baby.
yes, she is. Well, she's looking beautiful. Hugs and kisses to Gracie. Gracie the Wonder Dog. We love her. And I do want to say a special shout out and thank you to Ninon de Vir de Rosa because that's how we met also, isn't it,
Right.
Dixie?
How is
So
she?
mwah, mwah, kisses to Ninon de Vir de Rosa. Big
Yeah.
hugs and love, Ninon. We miss you. And so next time we come to Vegas, we want to maybe we could all get together. Wouldn't that be fun, Dixie?
Oh, I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Dixie, it's so good to see Trixie, the Wonder Dog. So we love her. And is it Trixie or Tracy?
Gracie.
Gracie. I'm so
Gracie.
sorry, Gracie.
Yeah. Gracie.
Gracie. Please forgive me. Okay, and then what was that? That was some kind of special magic power.
Oh,
What do
if
we
we're
got
going to
here?
talk about seances,
Ooh, I heard it. That's
yeah,
a special bottle, isn't it? That sounds like
special.
that sounds like a seance in a bottle. Is that what it's called?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. But anyhow, I love what I do,
Yeah,
and I always get excited. Every show I get excited for, I get up for it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I never like people of any type of entertainment, like uh, singing, whatever. It just called it in, phoned it in, their performance. It just went through the motions,
Yeah,
I mean, if you can't get up for what you're doing, and it's hard sometimes when you don't feel good or whatever, but I think entertainers should get up for what they're doing and try to give it their all every show.
absolutely. And that's what we love about you, Dixie. In fact, there's another picture on the screen here. It's one of my favorite pictures of you. You're in a white blazer. I think you're wearing a cross, beautiful cross as well. I love that.
Yeah,
A black
I
shirt.
always wear my cross. I'm very religious. It keeps the
Oh,
vampires away.
amen. I love that. I love that. You know
Yeah.
what? I just want to show you. I have my cross here. This was you can go online and get it blessed by the Pope in Italy. This was actually,
Really
yeah, this was actually blessed by the Pope
amazing.
in Vatican City. And I bought this as special for, my birthday. And isn't that lovely? So I love crosses too. I have it always right here on my workstation, Dixie.
Mhm.
And but you also are wearing a top hat, and I'm sorry, not wearing it, but you have a top hat there, a magic hat, and your magic wand. So I love this picture.
A lot of people often wonder, like because of what I do for a living, if I'm religious or whatever. Well, Siegfried was religious. His sister was a nun. Did
Really?
you know? Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yep,
That's so wonderful to know.
yeah,
And, they were wonderful. And I'm so glad you got to know them and be their friends. And you have a wonderful life, Dixie. You've met so many great people and you have so many people that are in your life, friends that love you, like Georgette and myself. And when we come next time, we want to see your magic show as well. We want to be in the
yeah.
we'll let other people be in the front row, but we want to be up there in the second row, okay?
Okay, that's fine. I think you have a good time. You
I
know,
know we will. I know we will. I look forward to that. So, Dixie, how can people support you and follow you? You're on Facebook and Instagram, is that right?
Facebook. Uh, I got a constant presence on Facebook. Good
Yeah.
stuff on there all the time.
Yeah.
I have a photographer who takes pictures of all the shows that we do, and that's a lot of pictures. He takes probably 100 pictures every weekend.
Wow.
At least 100 pictures.
Amazing.
And we try to put them up. You know what I mean? So everybody can see them every week, so they can see different magic tricks and the different things that we're doing. And Facebook, I got a big presence on. And let's see, Facebook,
Instagram.
and not so much Instagram or Twitter or anything like that.
Okay, well, Facebook is the way then, so they can
Yeah,
follow
Facebook
you.
is the way. I think I've concentrated mainly on Facebook.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And also, people can come and see your show at
Mhm.
the Boulevard Mall in Las Vegas. So that's exciting. Put that on your list. This is a family-friendly and fun
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
magic
very much.
show, and I think it's one of the best things to do. It's
Mhm.
on my bucket list. It's on the very top. Please put it on your list at the very top as well, because Dixie is a top class magician professional, and he's right there. He's also got a magic store, a magic shop, and there's fun, great products that you can buy there. You can buy his book and some.
And look what's coming up
What's
right
coming
here,
up?
right here,
Wow, what's that?
November 13th in Las Vegas.
Dixie
Oscar,
Dooley Day.
Oscar Goodman claimed it Dixie Dooley Day. Yeah,
That's your is that
November 13th.
November 13th. Is that your birthday?
No,
No.
uh, they just named it Dixie Dooley Day.
What an
My
honor.
birthday is November 8th, but come celebrate my birthday and Dixie Dooley Day right at the same time.
I
So,
love that. How does that
yeah,
make you feel, Dixie, that you have a day?
well, it made me feel great because I had no idea. And actually, my friends did that for me because it was also the day my mother died. She
Oh,
passed away on November 13th. So to change a negative into a
to
positive,
positive. Yeah.
yeah, they when they presented it to the mayor, they said November 13th. So it makes me feel
Amazing.
good. Makes me feel good.
Yes, it should. And is that Carolyn Goodman and Oscar Goodman?
Oscar Goodman. Yeah.
Oscar Goodman. Oh, we love them. They are
Yeah.
great people. I know they're friends of Georgette Dante's too, and she loves
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
What great people. You've got great people in your life, Dixie. And
Yeah, lots of good people,
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Dixie, if there's anything I can ever do to support or promote you, please let me know. I'm here for you. And
Thank you,
Jeff and
Adrian.
I adore you, and we just respect you so much. And anything else you want to promote or talk about before we do our heart messages?
Oh, not really. Just come see the show, hang out, tell me you saw it. AJ's podcast.
Yes, that's
Let me know where you saw it.
right.
We got a big crowd every Saturday and Sunday, and the magic shop is open all week. So anytime you want to come down, it's open till about 7, I think.
Yes, there's some great fun tricks in there, magic tricks, and then there's
Oh,
also
magic tricks, magic sets, magic kits. You
magic
name it. We got
cards.
DVDs that teach you magic. We got
Yes.
we got all my shows I had remastered. All
Oh,
my shows
great.
from the Plaza, the Houdini show, and
Ooh.
put original music with it because so because they're not covered by ASCAP, and so we makes it so we can sell them for only $10.
Wow,
The
wonderful.
different
Now, Dixie,
shows,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
all the different shows I've done in Las Vegas. Only the Las Vegas shows, though. You know.
Okay. Okay, great. And Dixie, are you open to casting roles and being an actor in movies, independent and mainstream? Are you open to that, or are you uh too busy with your schedule, or are you open to that kind of?
No, I'm open to that, but I did a few years ago. Team Pitney and Mark Almond's video is an award-winning video in Europe. Uh, I played the part of the Wicked Wizard.
Wow. Oh, cool. I love that.
Yeah, and they had me throwing fireballs at the camera up
That's
at Mount
fabulous.
Charleston. So it was crazy.
I
But
love
I
that.
did a little bit of that. I was in Honey, I Blew Up Kids. I think I Shrunk the Kids or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
I've been in a few. I had this one agent who, for a while, she would call me all the time about
Yeah.
movies and all. And so anyhow, yeah,
Cool. Okay, so you're
good
open.
horror movie. I'd like that. Yeah.
There you go. All casting. I have some casting friends and I have some director
Oh,
friends and some
yeah.
filmmaker friends. So if any of you are interested, contact Dixie Dooley to be in your movie. He's a great magician and it would be lots of fun because you would be getting the authentic master illusionist magician, and there's nothing like it. If you want it, if you're going to do it right, you've got to get the correct, true, honest, the real McCoy, as they say.
I tell you something that I've also helped do for films over the years in town is provide them with a prop and special effects, like
Wow.
horror effects. I had this
Yeah.
one guy who was doing a lot of these movies where slasher movies where he's stabbing people. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, why don't you try this effect? You know, where you can, it actually shows the knife going through the arm and the
Wow.
blood pouring out. And you don't have to, you know, you have this one effect and you don't
Wow.
have to do edits or however else you were going to do it. I can't even think of another creative way to do it. But there's a lot of things you can do with magic and trickery and illusion for film. You know?
Yes, yes, I love that. That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Dixie. And thank you so much for being a phenomenal and wonderful guest. And you've truly made tonight pure magic. And
Thank you.
yes, it's been so wonderful. And I'm so sorry. We're going to have to start wrapping it up. Um, but before we do, I want to we always do our heart messages. So for my heart message this week is, I think last week I was talking about self-care and all of that, but this week I want to encourage everybody to reach for the stars. Reach for the stars.
I love it.
Okay, I just had to bring this out. This is a little star I have on my workstation. It's actually a bismuth star, metalloid, and it's actually on the periodic table, which is kind of cool. But I want everybody to reach for the stars, continue your dreams, and keep going
Just
because,
remember one thing.
yes.
There is such thing as real magic in the world. It's called love. And when you find love in life, then you'll know the true meaning of what magic is.
Oh, I love that, Dixie.
I
Dixie,
used to close my show with that.
that is so beautiful. That's your heart message. I love. Is that your heart message, or
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
love it. I can't top that. That's perfect. That's
Mm.
absolutely perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dixie, and thank you again for being a great guest. And everyone, support and follow Dixie on Facebook, and follow him and like and support him and buy his DVDs and his wonderful books on Amazon.com. Go see his magic show. And until we meet again, have a magical week. Dixie, my friend, my wonderful friend, Dixie Dooley. Until next time.
Thank you, AJ.